That's where I'm walking off.
My next claim is, because we just talked about it, let's keep it going. The 2001 Lakers are the greatest team in NBA history.
2001, there was nice.
Okay. I'm going to let this roll out again, but I definitely want to hear this out. Because I don't know. That's a pretty strong claim there, Skap. 2001 Lakers are the greatest team in NBA history. I mean, you can make an argument, I suppose. They were great. I mean, you have I would say their only competitors is three teams, in my opinion, I would say. You obviously have the 1996 Chicago Bulls. You have the 2017 Golden State Warriors. You have the 1986 Boston Celtics. Those are the competition that I say you would have to be able to argue that it's better than the 01 Lakers. Shaq would be a problem regardless. Damn. But I'm gonna say this. I can't see them being better than the 96 Bulls. And the reason why I'll say that is because Rodman has already proven that he can deal with Shaq. Not saying that he can just outright stop him, but he can deal with him. I mean, he dealt with the Orlando Magic Shaq. Yeah, Shaq hadn't quite reached his prime yet, but this Shaq was, more athletic, more mobile. He could move around more. The 01 Shaq was, had a little bit more weight on him. I would say it made him more powerful and stuff like that, but he wasn't moving like the Orlando Shaq. So, do I think Dennis, along with Lonely helping out and stuff like that, could contain him enough so that they can be able to win? To put him in a position where I would say the X factor would be how well, if they were to face off, obviously, Scotty would do. You know what I'm saying? And Michael is going to be Michael. We know that. Kobe is going to be Kobe. But I mean, if we're going to choose between the two, I'm going to take Mike. So I don't know if you can argue they're the greatest thing. But like I said, I ain't going to say I don't know if you can argue. I would say I don't know if I would say they were. Then you got that 2017 Golden State team. I know a lot of people will go against it because they're going to say they don't have the size to be able to deal with Shaq, which is pretty much true. I mean, there's no way in hell Shaq is. I mean, Draymond is guarding Shaq. Neither is Zaza Pachulia or whoever. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have anyone that can. But here's where the problem would lie. It would depend on what rules are we playing. Because if they're playing the rules of today, where it's freedom of movement and all of that, Golden State has a legitimate shot, I think, of defeating them because of the 3-ball, but it also would make Shaq and Kobe way more tougher to guard. I must say that too. So, I don't know. It'll be tough.
Would it be Shaq? Would it be Kobe? Tyronn Lue?
You just listed Tyronn Lue as one of their good players.
He's all right. I mean, I'm making you look kind of bad because without Shaq, without Kobe, without other players, I mean, what do the Lakers really have? Rick Fox was nice, but was he always wet? Nah, not really. And who did they go against? 2001 76ers, Allen Iverson. They stole game one, and Kobe was in the locker room. That little mother.
Are you saying that the Sixers weren't good that year?
No, I'm not saying they wasn't
diminishing
good.
the Sixers?
What I'm saying is,
can I tell you something about the Sixers that year, please?
Yeah.
Because you clearly don't know.
But I do. But
go on then. Tell me about their accolades that year.
I mean,
tell me what they did. Tell me what they did.
Okay. You had the 6th man that year.
6th man of the year that year.
You
correct.
Had Snow.
Aaron McKee.
You had the.
No, it was go. Keep going.
You had Snow. You had the head coach of the year.
Head coach of the year as well. Larry Brown, coach of the year that year.
You had the Dikembe Mutombo.
Who was what that year?
The
defensive player of the year that year.
I see what you're trying to do.
And Allen Iverson, who was the league MVP
he was.
that year.
He was.
And they won.
And that's another thing. I'm going to say this because I definitely grew up where people saying how trash that 01 76ers team was to say that, you know, Iverson literally carried bombs. And then, you know, as I got older and knew and was more so a student of the game and learned all of those accolades like they're speaking of right now, figured out that Sixers team was pretty solid, very similar to what LeBron James had in 07. But they love to praise him like he just was this guy for making it to the finals. When Allen Iverson literally did the same thing.
He
56
was.
games, which was tied for the Lakers as the second highest win total that season. And you're talking about the Sixers that year were some scrub team. Are you kidding me?
I didn't say they was a scrub team. I'm saying they was good, but if we're being honest, was they only just good in the East? Yes.
I'm glad you brought that up. What did they do in the West? Can we go over what the Lakers did in the West that year?
Yeah, the Lakers did a lot, but wasn't that the same? Wasn't that
play?
the same season that old boy was throwing some money on the Sacramento Kings game? No,
that was the following.
That was 2002. Either or. I mean,
come on, get your numbers right.
Hold on. That Lakers team. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they were playing pretty good, but who did they really play against? They played a good team, but it was
I can tell you. I can tell you who they played. Since you can't tell us, let me tell us who they played.
Okay.
They had the second hardest run in NBA history based on SRS. That's
you
simple
keep
rating
talking about
system.
Numbers. Hold on, SRS. What are these numbers?
That is simple rating system. It tracks not only how many games his opponents won, but how they won those games against the quality of opponents that they faced. So it was the second most difficult run ever in league history based on SRS, behind only the 95 Houston Rockets. However, that 2001 Lakers team against that difficult field of all 50-plus win opponents, the Lakers produced the second highest margin of victory per game throughout that postseason. So wait a second. The team that faced the second hardest run ever beat that field by the second highest number ever?
Didn't Kobe say we are lucky that Allen Iverson is not at least, 6 something?
Is that your argument right now?
Yeah, that is my
argument.
argument.
If Allen Iverson was 6'6", that would have been a harder series?
I mean, Kobe said it.
Interesting.
Kobe said it. So that's proving my point.
I'm sorry, KJ, I cannot speculate on what would happen if Allen Iverson grew 6 inches.
Kobe said it. Kobe said it. Kobe said we're lucky. Hey, guys, not taller.
Can I give you two teams that I would put up there that rival that?
Right, so,
I mean, I think the obvious one is the 72-10 Chicago Bulls. I think the fact they have the all-time win record, winning that championship that year, best player or second best player of all time, Michael Jordan.
Look, he got caught. See, LeBron fans are terrible, bro. Like, you know the truth, but y'all just gotta lie. Even God made you say, nigga, you know Michael Jordan the best. He had to hurry up and switch it. You know he's the best, bro. And LeBron's not even number 2. LeBron's freaking number 8, probably, bro. Stop it.
Pippen again, I would argue, arguably the most underrated player of all time. There's that
one.
No,
he's not.
Another underrated team I'm going to give you, though, and, I don't have I'll be honest with you, I don't have the advanced metrics to back it up, but from watching that team, the 2014 San Antonio Spurs, the depth.
LeBron fans have to be stopped, bro. They have to be stopped, bro. The only reason why he is bringing up the 2014 Spurs is because they beat the living shit out of LeBron James at a record-setting margin. That's the only reason why he's saying that. They have to – see, this is another thing, a classic tactic by the LeBron James committee. They have to overrate anybody that has beaten LeBron, who's beaten the dog shit out of LeBron. Because if they don't, then they have to answer, hey, why did LeBron lose so badly to this team or this player? They have to give an answer for that. So they got to make it seem like that player or that team was so good, the reason why he lost, and they ganged up on him. That's what he's doing right now. Was that 2014 team, Spurs team, great? A well-oiled machine? Yes. They had a lot of solid pieces. It was, no egos and stuff like that. Kawhi Leonard was not even Kawhi Leonard yet, which is crazy. Tim Duncan was much older. He was not the same Tim Duncan that he was, 2 years ago. Neither was Manu Ginobili, neither was Tony Parker, and then they had a bunch of great role players, right? So He's only mentioning that because they got their ass blown out. LeBron James is overrated as hell and underachieved per usual. But you are crazy if you think you can argue the 2014 San Antonio Spurs was the greatest team of all time. I'm pretty sure nobody on that roster, the coach, the damn owner, nobody believes that they were the greatest team ever. You're tripping. Your Wiggly's only saying that because you are a LeBron James fanatic. You are part of the Bronze Veterans. You are part of the LBJTQ. That my boy D. Allen said. Shout out to my boy D. Allen.
That team held, the ball movement, the way that the system they played in with Greg Popovich, the aging stars they had, the ability for them to turn back the clock, those three in Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, and guys like Patty Mills, Boris Diaw playing, well above, I think, with their talent level. But within that system, watching that team, the dominance they went on, I would put those two teams as rivals to that 01 Lakers team, despite how great that team was.
Yeah, and the reason, look, you brought up a great full team in San Antonio, and there are no doubt better complete 1 through 10 teams, like a myriad of them throughout the history of NBA. But the reason why I think so highly of the 2001 Lakers, first of all, is because of the accomplishments that I just
and Kobe Bryant
is the fact that they did play such an extremely difficult path to get the championship, and they obliterated the field. They went 15-1 against that field and produced the second highest margin of differential against the second hardest run ever. And they ended the year that year in the regular season on an 8-0 run. So they really were 23-1 in their last 24 games that year. The only loss was to that 76ers team in overtime. That was the sole blemish. But in addition to the tangible accomplishments that I just produced, it's the only time in NBA history, in my opinion, that the two best players in the world in their prime were on the same team doing.
Now, this here is a very strong argument. I'll give him this. That makes his argument very strong. I don't think I can think of another time, possibly, that you can say both the best player in the league and the second best player in the league was on the same team. I mean, the closest thing that you can get to maybe to argue that, I'll give you two. Maybe you can argue that in the 80s with Magic and Kareem, maybe you can argue that. And the next closest thing that you can say to that could be Steph Curry and Kevin Durant in 2017. But of course, LeBron James fans would heavily contest to that. And honestly, I wouldn't just be totally against that. You can absolutely argue LeBron was the greatest player and best player in the league during that time. So I wouldn't be against it, but I'm just trying to throw something out there that you can kind of be able to argue that. But for the most part, yeah, I think unquestionably in 01, Shaq and Kobe were probably number 1 and number 2. Whichever order you want to put them in doesn't really matter, but yeah.
Their thing, which was Shaq and Kobe. That's why they were so unstoppable. In that postseason, average nightly scoring in the playoffs that year, 93 points per game. So think about that, 93 points per game. Now listen to what Shaq and Kobe did in that postseason for 16 games. 30 and 15 for Shaq per game.
I know what the averages were.
7 and 6 for Kobe on average.
Yep.
Those two guys were laying that down against that defensive field that they were playing, and they did that again in that era, 93 points per game. Like, we've never seen two dominant, and they just, the front court and the back court, like, they complemented each other perfectly. That's why I just don't think any team is beating them 4 times out of 7.
And I want to correct myself about the Chicago Bulls. It was the win record at the time. Obviously, the Warriors ended up completing that. They would have been the greatest team of all time, in my opinion, if they didn't choke to the greatest player of all time, LeBron James. But
sorry, it bothers me every time one of them LeBron fans say that. It really do, bro. He did not stop giving LeBron credit for shit he doesn't deserve credit for. I guess you deserve a little credit for, pulling it off. But let's add the context to it. Steph Curry was hobbled. Andre Iguodala was hobbled. Andrew Bogut got injured in Game 5. Draymond Green got suspended for in Game 5. Kyrie Irving was playing out of his mind. That's what it took for them to come back. It's not like LeBron just put his will down. And the biggest thing I think that makes you guys the biggest, most stupid pieces of shit of a fan base that I've ever seen is you love to talk about how he came back from 3-1, but you never seem to think about how the hell, if he was so great, how the hell did he get down 3-1? You I almost called y'all that word again, but y'all be acting like it because it don't make any sense to anybody that has a brain. Anybody that you don't even have to watch basketball. Let's just throw basketball out of the picture. Just talk to somebody that's just regular to just about anything. You be like, hey, try to imagine trying to prove to them, hey, this is the greatest player ever. Look, he came back from a 3-1 deficit. That's never been done in the finals. And then anybody with sense, it's going to be like, okay, that's cool and all, but how did he get down 3-1? You would have to explain that. You're going to make up excuses, which is what you guys do all the time. Make up excuses because that's what you do. You make up excuses. You don't hold him accountable. Very similar to women. Like I said, you LeBron James fans act like women. That's why I call you the beehive of the NBA.
That's besides the point. Michael, that Chicago Bulls team, again, I mentioned that Spurs team because to me, I think they're one of the forgotten championship teams and they deserve to be mentioned. I'll finish off with this. The Chicago Bulls team, to me, when you have the best record coupled with that championship, I just think that combination of the two of them, despite everything that you mentioned, because you're not wrong in what you're saying, that Chicago Bulls team to complete that three-peat, the ability again to win 72 games and win that title coupled all together, to me, that just can't be rivaled. But listen, good point.
Who would Shaq guard if they played the Golden State Warriors with KD, Steph Curry in the death lineup?
Who would guard Shaq?
I'm asking you a question.
Shit, well, their center
There's an evolution
was
of the
Draymond
game.
Green.
There's an evolution of the game.
Draymond Green played the majority of their minutes at big.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 6'6", 230 pounds,
If
bro.
you don't guard Draymond, he's going to initiate all the offense. Everything's going to go crazy. Steph Curry's going to be having gravity. You give it to KD, he's an instant bucket, a better scorer than Kobe Bryant.
Not even close. But who's going to guard? You asked me who's going to guard, who's Shaq going to guard. Who's going to guard Shaq? Draymond then will guard Shaq at the other end. Draymond Green, hold on. Draymond,
You're good at stats. Wait,
hold
give me
on,
one thing. You're good at stats, right?
Yeah.
What's worth more, 3 or 2?
Who's going to shoot a higher percentage, a dunk or a three-point shot?
With Steph and
Three-point
KD,
three-point
they're
shooting,
very efficient.
Three-point shooting is about
With
what,
Steph and
30,
KD?
35%?
Two of the greatest three-point shooters ever.
37%?
Two of the
35, 37%? What's Shaq shooting at the basket with Draymond Green?
Another thing.
80%?
You just talked
90%?
about how Kobe had a terrible supporting cast. Who's their third best player? You named Draymond Green.
There were some good defenders, though, on that team.
There are
good
can I say
defenders on
something?
that team.
Draymond Green is a Hall of Famer. You said the third best player was Derek Fisher, and you said he's not good, which made Kobe Bryant better in your mind. You dissed your own supporting cast, and now you're saying they're the greatest team ever. Depth matters.
I'm saying from a defensive standpoint, you're asking who's going to guard. They had good
I
perimeter
changed the
defenders on
subject.
that 2001 team.
You just dissed the supporting cast, and now you're saying they're the greatest team ever.
In terms of offensive firepower, sure. When you look at the
So
2001
how are they the
run,
greatest team?
because they had the two best players in the NBA.
How about
on one
depth
team.
of scoring?
When has that ever happened?
How about depth of
when has
scoring?
it ever happened that they're the two best players in their primes were on one team at one time?
Oh,
in
KD,
NBA
Kevin Durant.
They were, but
I mean,
so they were
KD,
better
Steph
than
Curry.
LeBron. So they were
Scottie
better.
Pippen,
They were
Michael
both
Jordan,
better.
and Michael Jordan would be the best player on the court.
I'm
Clearly,
the-
even you admit that.
The other
Best
player, though, I'm
player.
saying the top two, Shaq and Kobe, were the two best players in the world at that time in their primes. Steph and KD were not the best two players. LeBron James was
Yeah, because
floating around
LeBron wasn't in
the
his
NBA.
prime. Exactly.
Pippen
LeBron would
was
have been the
not
best player back
Pippen
then.
was not the second best player. Pippen was
LeBron
not-
would have been the best player back then. So what are you talking about? You're not even comparing 2 on 2.
I'm saying in the context that we're talking about, there has never been a time in the league where the two best players
Okay, you
at
keep
that
saying the same thing
time
over and over again.
are right. So that, but you're not answering it though. But let me, if I may, let me just finish your point that you started with. Draymond Green logged a substantial amount of minutes as the big on that team that you're referencing. Draymond Green's height and weight list, 6'6", 230 pounds. That's what he's listed as.
He's one of the greatest. Can I finish my point? He's one of the greatest defenders to ever live, and he initiates offense.
He's
more. So listen, he's more of a point guard than a big.
He's 6'6", 230. He would be guarding Shaq, whose list weight and height was 7'1", 325.
You're still,
He's a half a foot taller and 100 pounds heavier.
The Lakers
and that's the
never-
answer they have for Shaquille O'Neal. And that's the team you bring to me, is that Warriors team. Because what? You think that they're going to be able to run around and shoot more threes?
They
But that
are.
2001
There's
team
the evolution
had
of the
good-
game.
That 2001 team had good perimeter defenders, though.
Who?
Kobe Bryant and Rick Fox.
Rick Fox?
Rick Fox was a good perimeter defender.
You know that supporting cast wasn't good. You said it yourself in your own argument, and now you're
That
also
doesn't mean
saying
they
they're the
can't
greatest
defend
team.
the three-point shooters.
They
the
were
Golden
not.
State was going to throw at
Listen,
them.
72-10 Bulls, better. Those Warriors team, better. Celtics won 9 out of 11 back then. I would even say Bird, McHale, and Parrish as a trio is better than any trio the Lakers ever had, especially in that era.
Definitely not the 80s Showtime. Are you kidding me?
A better team than that 2001 Lakers team is the 2016 Cavs that came back down from 3-1 to beat the Warriors. So they won the first 2 series in a sweep.
LeBron fans have to be stopped, bro. They have to be stopped, bro. We need to find a facility to just put these clowns in, that they can just only speak among each other. Like, they should only be able to talk to each other, bro. Do not talk to real basketball fans that knows basketball knowledge, saying dumb, stupid shit like this. Look at this clown. The 2016 Cavaliers, are you fucking serious? This man here. They got down 3-1. How can the greatest team of all time get down 3-1, you dumb, goofy clown? Then you got swept. That same team got swept. But y'all are stupid, bro. LeBron fans, y'all are stupid.
Marcus Smart.
Who'd they play?
Doesn't matter. They sweep. They beat the competition. They destroyed them. Then they
Not as bad as the 2001 team did to their competition, against better competition. Go ahead.
Okay. Then Marcus Smart hit a lucky shot. They would have swept the Celtics to make it to the next round. Okay. Then they come down against what was the greatest
East
team
was
of
weak
all
as shit.
time at the
Fuck are
time.
you talking
73-9, the death lineup, and they come back and they win 3-1. And not only that, they won in a myriad of ways, which is one of your favorite words.
You
Okay.
already
They
talked
won
like that word.
They won in a low-scoring game in Game 7. They would win in high-scoring games. I don't have all the advanced
This man
stats,
is,
but they
though,
could win in
bro.
all
Look
these
at
different
this
types of ways.
stupid
And the
shit he is saying. Listen to this stupid shit. What is Johnny Bravo talking about, bruh? This man is dumb as hell, bruh. You can't argue that a team that was down 3-1 is the greatest team ever. You are freaking crazy. There's no way a team that's down 3-1. See, and then this is the thing. I have never seen, bro. Y'all are retarded, bro. So basically, y'all try to give LeBron credit for losing, then coming back. But so that makes them better than the other teams that never found themselves down 3-1 because they were able to put away their competition sooner. So that makes them better. Y'all are, bro, they need to go back to school. They need to go to somewhere.
question that you've been asking everyone, who would guard Shaq? There's 2 people who would guard Shaq. One, Kevin Love. Look at what he did against.
Skap had to laugh too. That is crazy. Well, he's the worst one I've seen. I think, have we seen this guy yet? I don't think. I think this is the first time we've seen him. This is crazy. Literally, this is crazy. This man just said Kevin Love is going to guard Shaquille O'Neal. Are we talking about the same beast that was 7'1", 330 pounds, that dominated the entire league, that was pulling down the rim? Kevin Love is going to guard that guy. This is insane. This dude needs to be stopped. Skap, they need to kick this nigga out. He need to go. This nigga got to go. There's no fucking way. And I can guarantee you he's probably going to try to talk about how Kevin Love was able to stop Steph Curry for one possession. And then on top of it, what's so utterly stupid about this comparison is Steph Curry is a jump shooter, people. You can sometimes just simply miss the shot. A three-point shot is much more challenging than a shot right at the basket. Shaquille O'Neal is going to be right at the basket. He's going to dunk all over the cap. Did you Did you see the play where Shaq dunked on the guy and pushed him down? The guy got mad and threw the ball up. But this is crazy.
Look at what he did against Steph Curry. He could also go.
Respond.
Exactly.
Look at what he did against Steph Curry.
himself
You
here.
remember that? Remember the play against Steph Curry? He could also do that against Shaq. And also the Cavs had Delly. There's nobody on the Lakers who could have guarded Delly, all right?
Shaq did that spin move, dunked on
Delly.
someone, put his crotch up in his face, and then pushed him over.
It's
That would be
crazy.
against Kevin Love every
Yeah,
single
Do you
time.
remember when
The Warriors were 73-9 in the regular season. Do you know what their record was that year in the playoffs?
They lost 7 games.
No, they lost 8 games. They were 15-8.
Oh, yeah.
They were
Okay.
15. So they were 73-9 in the regular season, but they were only 15-8 in the playoffs. And they were down 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals and getting obliterated by the Oklahoma City Thunder until Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook threw up all over themselves in Game 6 and let them come back and win. That was a different Warriors team at that time. They were depreciated. Curry was hurt. We had the Draymond Green suspension. Other players on that team, bigs predominantly, got hurt on that Warriors team as well. So yes, they came back and they won a 7-game series with Kyrie Irving cooking as well as LeBron in games 5, 6, and 7. But they didn't beat anybody to get out of the East. So I do not put that Cavs team very highly myself. But interesting point. Kevin Love versus Shaq head to head. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with that.